I mentioned on one of my previous videos that whenever I travel to another country, something I actually enjoy doing is going to the local supermarket, seeing what products are in that supermarket that are very unique to that country. I travel around Asia quite often, so I always love going to the supermarket, seeing like Japanese products, Indonesian products, seeing things you can't get here in Malaysia. Today I'm going to be looking at a Finnish supermarket. I believe this supermarket is called Prisma. I have never heard of this supermarket before. Tell me more about it. Is it like somewhere that's very common? Is it somewhere you use very often? Let's check out.
There's also an exotic fruits section with some fruits I've never seen before.
Okay, that's dragon fruit, that's star fruit. These are very popular here in Malaysia, in Asia. I didn't expect them to be sold in Finland, honestly. Is this expensive for those fruits?
Pretty cool if you ask me.
Passion fruit as well?
And all fresh as can be. It's a very, very high quality store. There's
nice
even
fruit
a
juices.
salad bar, which is pretty amazing. The salati bari. For 15 euros almost, you have a kilo. So that's 149 for 100 grams. You get some seeds, some Doritos on top. Tuna, carrot, onion. Some falafels, even cheese toppings, and the actual salad. There's fruits. There's everything for a healthy little snack. Absolutely amazing. You can disinfect your hands and just pile on in your salad box.
I mean, something like that, I guess people in Finland maybe are not impressed by that or just take it for granted. But living in Malaysia, living in Asia, I definitely have never seen anything like that. It looks great. It looks very reasonably priced. All the produce looks very fresh and healthy and good. You can see why Finnish people have a very healthy lifestyle. Tell me, with regards to the prices, have you noticed prices increasing? You know, like a lot of countries have had like their cost of living's been increasing quite a lot. Inflation has been very high. Has that been noticeable in the cost of goods in Finland? Has it been increasing a lot over the last couple of years?
What a marvelous store, guys. As fresh as can be. The habanero peppers. This tops any supermarket I've ever seen in any country. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Whoa. Some great cuts of meat there. Oh, it's huge. This place is absolute. Is this candy? Whoa. Oh yeah, this is the licorice type thing, I believe, that's very common in Finland. But I was just talking about how healthy the food is in Finland with all that salad, and then you have a candy aisle that's absolutely huge. It's good, but I enjoy that too. Got Haribo. I love Haribo. It's so clean and so tidy as well. Here in Malaysia, these aisles are, sometimes they can look like a war zone. Things are everywhere. Whoa, what's all this? Yeah, tell me with regards to the fresh produce like vegetables and fruits, Does Finland produce a lot of its own, or does it import a lot of that too? How does that reflect in the price?
This Finnish supermarket is in Jyväskylä, which is in central Finland, and it's one of the biggest ones in the town. It's essentially in the city mall.
So many
And
potatoes.
what you see is that everything is pretty much fresh, and you can just take whatever you need basically straight from the field. It arrives in a box. It's put right here,
Wow.
and you can just take a bowl and go straight home and cook a very fresh, nice meal for yourself.
Yeah, I've never seen so many different varieties of potato as well. And again, as he mentioned, they all look very good quality. Again, living in Malaysia, they don't really produce a lot of their own goods like that. So you find a lot of fruit and vegetable comes from China, and it's just not the best quality. It's always like dirty, damaged, things like that. This just looks like heaven.
Prices are a bit higher, obviously, than in Bulgaria, although it's nothing outrageous compared to the salary mostly. Then definitely it's a decent price, but if we compare it to the Bulgarian standard, it would be, well, quite a difference. Obviously, it's nowhere comparable. It's not just a supermarket. They essentially have everything, ranging from household products to gardening. You have the magazines, comics, obviously. You have food stuff. You have products for pets. Strawberries currently in May 2022 are $5.50 for 400 grams, which is basically the same price as Bulgaria in this season, where the strawberries are also quite expensive this time of year. Everything for food, it's a bit more American in terms of size. So you have paper in bigger packages. Everything is just a bit bigger, and that means essentially you get a wholesale price as well, where it's a little bit lower depending on how much you buy. For example, this is, well, kitchen, household towels, and the normal toilet paper is becoming more expensive because, I don't know, I read it, the current crisis, let's say, or some made up excuse, it's not very cheap. As you can see, you pay $7.15 for a batch of toilet paper, which is quite expensive. Here you find wholesale as well, where you can get 32 rolls.
Oh.
Or what is it, 24, and it would cost you 31 cents a piece, which is relatively affordable. Again, not much of a difference compared to Bulgaria, for example, especially if we take into account the income.
I feel like that's even cheaper than here in Malaysia. I guess because here in Malaysia they import so many things that actually the cost of goods in supermarkets can be a bit more expensive. Again, here, as he mentioned, you're buying like kind of wholesale, buying in bulk, so maybe that's one reason why it's cheaper. Here in Malaysia, they don't really produce a lot of their own goods, so a lot of things are imported. It just means things that cost more. Even though you would think in Malaysia has a lower cost of living, I guess with is maybe more things like rent and utility bills and things like that. But Finland, for goods in the supermarket, actually seems very reasonably priced.
What else do we have? Clothes, shoes, everything you can imagine.
Really got everything here.
There's even dressing rooms, there's toilets. It's the closest we get in Europe to a Walmart, essentially. Just with decent looking people around as compared to the US.
Yeah, I guess this is maybe more similar to what we have in the UK. I've not lived in the UK for 13 years, so I don't know how things are these days. Can only really compare to Asia, and this is just completely different from Asian supermarkets, or Malaysian anyway. This sells everything, you don't need to go anywhere else.
It just doesn't, and essentially we have sports goods, and we get to...
But do you actually buy clothes and sports shoes and things, all these things from the supermarket, or are they lower quality? How do the prices compare to other places? Bikes as well.
Home trainers, outdoor products such as sleeping bags. Because Finland obviously is a huge outdoor destination, and people themselves do a lot of nature, hiking, fishing, everything you can imagine. So you do need all of these products as well that you find right here.
But like, if people are going hiking and camping, would they come to a supermarket and buy their products, or would they go to like a specialized supplier or shop? Are these like supermarket own brand products, or are these actually branded goods? And yeah, now selling all these sort of things, did that put a lot of small businesses out of business?
Raft even.
Whoa.
Then you get your TVs, your coffee machines. So essentially it's a technopolis as well that we would have in Bulgaria, where you can get an air conditioning system, a flat screen TV, things for remote working, a microphone, a webcam. It's all in one. What's interesting is that, well, essentially this is a supermarket, but you have lamps as well. Lamps right here. What I wanted to show you is just that it doesn't end.
It doesn't end.
And for Europe, this is a pretty impressive type of store, because rarely do we see it all in one. But Finland is a little bit American in that sense, that it's catered to convenience. Part of that taking into account that distances in Finland are pretty big.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I guess this means that it saves people having to travel, especially during those winter months where the weather might not be so good. They can just buy everything under one roof. It's a really good idea. The place looks huge as well, actually.
So if you go to the city and you live in some rural area, you go to the city and you do it all at once. It's the IKEA in here, it's the hardware store, it's your outdoor store. You can get your toilet paper, you can get your food, and you take your big car home. That's the thing in Finland. And it's actually quite cool, if you ask me. I like it. That's it for now, alright?
Yeah, that is really cool. Like, really, I don't think I've ever seen such a substantial supermarket before. Really huge. If you just see that image here, like how far it just never ending. Get everything you need under one roof. Tell me if you visited here before. Is this very common? He said it's in the middle of Finland. Is this even common near the big cities as well? But yeah, it looks fantastic, and the food looks like really high quality as well. So tell me what you think about Prisma. Thanks.